talk about the cultural concept of ambiguity tolerance and how different cultures approach the unknown. Ambiguity, as you've learned, is the idea that something is capable of more than one interpretation. Tolerance refers to how well we deal with something with which we're unfamiliar or uncomfortable. So, put those two together, and ambiguity tolerance refers to how easily we deal with things and situations that have multiple possible choices and are open to interpretation. It's a situational response. A high tolerance for ambiguity means we're comfortable with the unknown and accept the idea of uncertainty without feeling threatened. High ambiguity tolerance minimizes the importance of rules and accepts and even encourages creativity and people who may have a different approach to life and communication. Low ambiguity tolerant culture, on the other hand, avoids uncertainty and feels anxiety about the unknown. Structure is highly desirable, and even communication can have very clearly understood rules that should be followed. So, there's a continuum possible between these two ends, and a person can exist anywhere on that continuum. We're often taught our approach to the unknown as we grow up by our parents and other surrounding influences, making it part of our culture. Let's take a look at some examples that may help to illustrate this concept. Let's say you apply for and are chosen for a job. When you begin the job, you're told, you are to be the marketing manager for the company. Get our name out there and raise our sales. You're left to figure out exactly how you're going to go about doing this. Your employer is taking a high ambiguity tolerant approach to that job. If, however, when you showed up for your first day on that same job, you were handed a list of specific actions to take and people to contact in order to advertise the company and increase sales, that would be a low ambiguity tolerant approach by your employer. Or perhaps you want to cook dinner. Do you find a recipe, shop for the specific ingredients, and follow the directions exactly in order to achieve a known and tasty outcome? Or do you take a look at what you already have in the kitchen and figure out some way to put it together that will make a satisfying meal? When your family travels, do you plan out a specific itinerary where you know exactly what you'll be doing each moment of every day? Or do you plan to simply go and see what happens? When it comes to money, does your family stick to a budget and plan carefully? Or do you kind of follow your impulses and see what you want? And let's not confuse high or low ambiguity tolerance with high or low context communication, which is another way in which cultures can be compared. It's also possible to be highly tolerant of ambiguity in some areas, such as relationships, and at the same time have a low tolerance for other situations, such as wanting specific information about appropriate dress for a party. There are lots of individual personality factors that affect these responses as well. Keep in mind that culture doesn't have to mean an entire country or region. Different workplaces can value room for creativity or a need for clear rules and instructions. For instance, someone doing a pre-flight check of an airplane needs to be very specific and careful about following protocol to make sure everything is safe. While once up in the air, the pilot needs to be ready to respond to many unpredictable circumstances. Schools or individual classrooms can differ in their degree of ambiguity tolerance, which you may have experienced. Different religious institutions may put a greater or lesser emphasis on the importance of rules. Even on the level of family, we can create a climate that emphasizes different approaches to the unknown. And neither is inherently superior to the other. Each can be more effective in certain situations. Like many cultural differences, ambiguity tolerance is just a way of looking at things to compare them, perhaps understanding those differences better, and ultimately leading us to better interpersonal communication.